she asked, and I'm just paraphrasing it because I don't have it in front of me. She asked about our own home life, our own, it was one of those, how do you do it all questions. And, my first reaction when I hear that is, well, what do you mean by it? And the other question is, well, we're not doing it all. And then my third thought is, we're not doing it all. There's a grace to it all, like you were mentioning before, like being docile to what you're being called to do, right? There's a greater calling involved with homesteading and family life. And so, I guess, but I think on a practical level, there still is this, okay, how do we make it work? Whatever it is, the messiness, the sporadic moments of, light coming through the clouds. How does it play itself out in the Meatsmith household? So I thought, however you want to answer that, but, my instinct, I'll speak for me personally. I get up at 5:30 and I do actually my bit of work right in the morning from 6 to 7 or 7:30. I do a bunch of online work. Yeah. Because I don't want to do that when the kids are awake. Yeah. I mean, I inevitably still do peek at the computer, but I don't want to be like in intense work mode when they're awake. I want to try to give them as much of myself as I can. So I do that, and I'm upstairs, and so I let them, I don't let them interfere. They have to stay downstairs, right? Until 7 or 7:30. Yeah. And then
all 6 of our children are early risers.
I know. This is a recent phenomenon too, this schedule that I'll lay out, because they've all kind of crept upstairs and, hey mom, hey dad, what's going on? And then it's over. Yeah. And the day's begun. But if we can try to eke out an hour, and for me that is office work, because I know that will distract me the rest of the day, because I'm super conscientious, industrious, and I want to get those things done and out of the way. So I do my quiet, intense work time in the morning, and then we go into and then I read to the kids. I go downstairs and I try. This is like, and this is the ideal. This actually happens like maybe half the time, maybe a third of the time. But again, we're aiming high, and then we'll see what happens. We'll see what life brings us. But then I read to the kids for a good 20 minutes. Keep it lighthearted, and maybe I'll read out of a novel for Wallace because he's older now and he likes the more complex stuff. But then I go into making breakfast, and the kids do their morning chores. They have their own little routine, and I make them actually mark on a list on a whiteboard that they've done it all, because that's the only way kids actually do it, because they can't carry it in their heads. Then we eat breakfast at 8:30, and then you go into your day and I go into the homeschool mode. And then while they're cleaning up breakfast, I might do a little bit more of hanging Meatsmith work, like online, background stuff or accounting or something. And then we do lunch together. I make lunch, and you come in and we eat lunch together. And then in the afternoon, I make the kids do quiet time and then playtime, like free playtime.
Yeah, quiet time every day.
That's really key.
Because they will never choose quiet time, even if they need it very much badly, which is usually every day, because they're hard on each other. It's a constant 10,000 RPMs for them, and so they need to lay in your bed with a book,
stare at a wall for a moment. Yeah, or maybe they'll do an audiobook. We do audiobooks sometimes. I'm kind of blasting through our days here, but then in the evening, I make the kids do some outdoor chores, and depending on the day, you'll be either wrapping up a farm project, or usually it's butcher shop stuff. Yeah. You don't really do farm projects, but maybe once a week. And then we do dinner, and we usually end with some sort of, maybe you'll play the guitar, or the kids will do something with the kids. But that's our day. And then, I end the day with prayer, because that's what really centers me and gets me ready for the next day. It's like recharge. But I was just telling Brandon, I'm on 6 cylinders now, or 6. How did I say? I'm in 6th gear.
6th gear, which sort of works as a metaphor. I'm going to have to talk to you about manual transmissions.
Okay.
And the way they work.
I know nothing about cars.
RPMs is good. You could say,
okay,
I'm tacking, 10,000 RPMs.
That's where I'm at. Yeah.
Might even need to be more than that.
Every moment is eaten up.
You're revving really high.
Yeah, I am. And there's no spare moments. Mm-hmm. There's no moments. And so I have to be really choosy about what I do. Yeah. And I have to say no a lot. That's a question. That's a response to that first question is I have to say no in order to say yes to what is most important.
Yeah, and I think the general takeaway I get from that and our experience is the embracing of the schedule. Yeah. And I feel like it's been second nature to us now, but it wasn't at the beginning. It's not obvious that that's what you need to do. It's the constant realization that, oh, you mean I need to schedule down to the day? Oh, wait, yeah. You mean to the half day or to the hour? To within the hour? We actually need to schedule everything that tightly? And the answer is yeah. Yeah, you do. And it's the key to freedom. And it's also... like you said, you don't ever really hit the schedule exactly, but it's key to the sanity. It gives this overlay of order to the chaos that kind of is a lodestone and keeps things moving throughout the day without breaking down too far. So schedule is pretty essential.
It's absolutely essential, especially for in the home. Mm-hmm. One thing that's been on my heart to say too is I can't impose that structure too much on you because that's okay. It's okay. I've learned it. And I think that's actually brought some peace to, we don't really fight that much, but there's been moments where I'm like, I need to know what he's doing. But I've learned you operate best because, we took this personality test and we discovered how open you are. And maybe we can talk about that later. But open people who are creative, they actually need some mess because that's how creativity thrives. And so there's a balance that has to be played on my part with ordering the home, but allowing your creative process to happen. And that ultimately, if we can get that balance right, that's when we are pushing forward as a family.
Yeah, it helps. And I know that is particularly challenging for you because I'm a hard worker. I'm pretty conscientious. I'm way up there. But I'm not as conscientious as you are. Yeah. You are the most diligent, productive human on the planet.
I'm off the charts.
You're off the charts.
Yeah.
Which makes sense with how much we accomplish.
Okay, well, hang on. Let's bring this up then, because this is a great tool that has been helpful to us. If you're trying to think, how can we make the homestead work better? Well, like we said, it comes back to you. It comes back to honing yourself. We're polishing our own rock. And so what's been helpful to us is this website called understandmyself.com. And it's a personality test. It costs $10 and it's worth it. It's based on the 5-factor model of psychology.
5 traits.
Five traits. Yeah, I remember learning about this back in my college days.
Because you have a master's degree in theology and psychology.
Yeah. So it's a very solid.
You're very conscientious. Yeah. It's fun too. It's actually a great thing to do as with family as a party. It's so fun.
It is.
But it's also helped. It confirms things you suspect about yourself and the people you live with. Confirms them. So then you can kind of, we can move on and maybe structure our life according to these things that we see in ourselves.
Yeah, and it helps you understand your own the way you tick better. It helps you understand how your partner ticks. And then it also allows you to have more grace with yourself, with your partner. And not that it allows you to get away with things, but because you also know when you take these personality tests, there's always room for improvement and it's never just set in stone, right? You can keep, for me, I can be rather low in, let's say, politeness. So when I discovered that, I was because I'm very high in the overall category of agreeableness, but I'm rather low in politeness. And I thought, I'm going to work on that. I don't want to be like just this bulldozing personality. So anyway, I'm bearing all for you right now, but it's been a good tool.
Yeah.
And I think it has improved the way that the household runs.
Yeah.
Because we're at the helm. So if we're not all, you know, like okay with ourselves, things are going to decline rather rapidly.
Yeah.
But working on ourselves has been...
Yeah. Well, and that's like, if you're already wanting to pick so many other battles, like raising as much food as you can, or growing a few pigs out every year and harvesting themselves, or whatever it may be, if you want to pick those battles, it's really good to have the one battle at the center of the home not be a battle. You know, your relationship with your partner. That would be really tough.
Oh, yeah. It would.
And so this is one way to, I think it clarifies a lot of things.
Yeah, it's a bedrock.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. How would
know
you
thyself.
say... Yeah, yeah. How does your day run from your perspective? Because I just went through how I see the homestead running, but...
Yeah, mine are different, you know. They change a lot. And because some days are shop days, some days I'm in the truck all day, slaughtering an animal somewhere, several animals, and bringing them back. Yeah, my days change. But I do notice, like you say, it helps me to introduce something of chaos into my day. I do kind of need that, or I descend into grumpus mode. And I will happily descend into grumpus mode because I'm also, like, I like to get work done. And so I can justify it and I can guilt myself into it. But I do need, and so for me, the morning time when I get up when the alarm goes off at 5:30, that beginning of the morning is a good time where it is structured, but it's also unbounded in a way.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. What are my days like? I wander around confused, figuring out what to do.
like Chesterton, right?
Find myself doing things. But yeah.
I just know the Chesterton quote where he called his wife one time and he was like, I'm on 34th Street. Where ought I to be?
Yeah. Oh, no, and I ask you that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. What am I doing
What
right
should
now?
I be doing right now?
What should I be doing?